Hi everyone, it's Christine here from Ever After Paper Crafts, and today I want to share a super simple video with you on how I created this card. This is a fun background I don't even know if you should call it a technique, it's so easy, but I wanted to just have kind of a fun abstract background behind my fun little mermaid here on her seahorse floaty. How cute is that, by the way? So I dug out my Kuretake palette of 6 pearlescent paints. These are absolutely beautiful. Now, what's great about these is a lot of time pearlescent paints do not show up very well on white cardstock or white paper, but they do show up beautifully on black cardstock, and you could still use these for coloring on black cardstock or what have you, but what's really awesome is that they also show up beautifully on white. So what I did is simply globbed on 3 different colors to just create a fun, shimmery and shiny background. Look how that, when the light hits it, how shimmery and shiny that paint is when it's all dry. It's just beautiful. Now the stamp set that I'm using today is a brand new, just now released stamp set from Craft and Desert Divas called Summer Vibin', and I use this fun little mermaid stamp right here, but all the images are just adorable. So let's go ahead and get started. This is a very simple card to do. What I did is first I cut out a rectangular background, and I just used a rectangle from the Fancy Dyes die set from Craft and Desert Divas and cut that out with my Canson XL watercolor paper. And so I was left with this. Now usually when I do any type of painting or watercoloring on my project, I like to tape it down on that board. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know what I'm talking about. But because this is so super simple, I'm not going to worry about that now. I'm just going to kind of put it on a piece of scratch paper and go to town. You also need a cup of water and a paintbrush. Any paintbrush will do for this type of technique. You do not need a special one. I happen to have a size 8 silver black velvet watercolor brush, so that's what I'm going to use. But seriously, a cheap paintbrush would do. This really isn't expensive either. I think this brush was only like $13, but I'm just saying, you know, any paintbrush that you have will do. Now what I'm going to do is dip my paint here into, or my paintbrush into this pink color here. It's number 734. And these are very pigmented, so you really have to get the water flowing in the little paints to get the paint moving, and then just kind of load up your brush with it, and I'm just globbing it on. Seriously, no magic here. Seriously, just globbing it on here onto the bottom, just to create kind of just a little, not even going for a shape, just a glob, just for something fun and different. Now I'm going to come in and clean my paintbrush off in my little cup of water here, and I'm going to go into the blue, get it nice and wet, get that paint moving, and then go around the pink and a little bit out into this area. I want to butt it right up against the pink, and then, oops, I hit it just a little bit there, and then just come out just a little bit like so. Nothing magical at all to what I'm doing. And then finally, I'm just cleaning my paintbrush off in the cup of water real quick, and we're going to go into the green. Get that nice and wet, get the paint flowing, load your paintbrush, and then boom, butt it up against the pink, butt it up against the blue, and then move it upwards like so. And there you have it. Now, let me bring over the final card. I want to show you the shimmer and shine again. And to get it that shimmery, you probably want to do 2 coats. So I'm going to grab my heat gun here and just kind of dry it with the heat gun. If you have water droplets, just kind of use the gun to push them along. I really like that drippy look, and for such an abstract background as this, that really kind of adds to the project. I'll bring over the finished card in a moment and show you what I mean. But anyway, I'm just going to quickly dry this here with my heat tool. Drying it will help that next coat that we're going to do really lay on top of this one instead of just blending in with it, and will really give us that shine. In my final card, this is kind of what I wanted to show you. Hopefully the camera's picking it up, but there's like globby, kind of runny driplets of the blue over here, some of the pink and some of the green, and that really gives it that fun drippy watercolor look, and that happens when I kind of chase those paint droplets around with my heat gun. So now I'm just going back into the pink and globbing on some more paint. I'm going to do the same thing with the blue and the same thing with the green. Dry it one more time, and then you'll see this gorgeous shimmer and shine that I'm talking about. It's so beautiful. And you can even do more than just 2 coats. I think in my final card I actually did 3 total coats, but however many you want to really get that shine, go ahead and do. So I'm going to dry it again super quick. Sometimes it helps to pick your paper up to chase some of those droplets. It's kind of fun. It just creates that fun look. So I'm just drying this really quickly here with my heat gun. And I won't get it completely dry because you'll be able to see the shimmer and shine without it being totally 100% dry. So now I'm going to pick this up and bring it up to the camera and look at that. How pretty is that? Of course, you could do this with so many different color combinations. You could just use one color. You could do way less of the paint. You could do way more. You could create a whole background with this technique. It's really fun, really simple to do. And the outcome is, I think, really, really pretty. And again, that took us, what, maybe 2 minutes to do that? So just a fun little something extra to do with your card. So now I'm going to go ahead and put the paints aside, bring the final card over, and you can see I kept it very simple. All I did was add the image and then add it to a white note card with some twine and some sequins, and then of course the sentiment from the same stamp set. So the last thing that we're going to do is just go ahead and color our mermaid. I already stamped her with Hero Arts Black Dye ink, which is suitable for watercoloring. I love this ink, and it's also very dark and very nice. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in now so you can see my coloring a bit better. All right, and I use just a few zigs for this, so I'll call them out as I go with them. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is her hair, and I'm going to do her hair first because I want to color her little headband a different color than her hair, obviously, and I want this to have a little bit of time to dry so that that other color won't react to the brown I'm laying down. So I'm just scribbling some dark brown color where I feel it's going to be darkest. So kind of up near her headband, and then the hair around her face and under this starfish is going to be the darkest, where the shadow is going to hit. I'm imagining that the sun is coming in from this direction. So if that helps you kind of visualize where the shadow is, pick out where you think that the sun is coming. So now I'm going to take a brown, which this is my favorite brunette color combination, and it's dark brown and brown. And I'm just going in a circular motion, and I'm pulling the dark brown color out into the white space. So, and just to blend those two colors together. And now I'm going to take my water brush. This is just a zig water brush, and I'm going to use the water brush to do the rest of the work for me. And it's going to pull this color that we've laid down into the white space that is left, and it almost creates this third kind of color. And it really gives you a very pretty shaded look. So kind of the middle of her hair is where it's going to be the lightest, where in my guesswork, if you will, the sun's going to be hitting. And again, as I said in many videos, I'm not an artist. I don't know proper shading techniques. It's certainly something I'd love to learn someday, but as of right now, I just like to create fun cards, and that's all I know how to do. So I just kind of use my best guess as to where the shadow is going to be and that sort of thing. So now I want to do the back part of her hair, and I kind of feel like up here, kind of around her headband, underneath her ear here, and around her face is certainly going to be the darkest. And these tips of her hair that jut out are going to be the brightest. So as you can see, I put down very little color. The fewer bits of color that you put down with the marker, the more dramatic your shading is going to be. So if you really want a dramatic look that shades from dark and then you see a lot more light color, you scribble just a little bit of marker down to create that look. Kind of, if you're familiar at all with working with Copic markers, we were often trained to either leave white space or a very light color that you blend towards to create that very dramatic blended look. It's the same idea here, except I don't like leaving white space, but I do like leaving a very light color at the end where I feel it's going to be lightest on my image. So it's kind of a very similar idea to Copic coloring in that regard. So I'm just going to smooth out up here just a little bit. There were a few lines, and now her hair is done. Super easy and quick, and we did it with 2 markers and a water brush. So next I'm going to move down to her little shell top, which is so super adorable. And I just used one color for this, and I used pink. And I'm scribbling just the slightest little bit of pink. I almost just put dots of it on my image here, just very, very little. And that's going to create that blended look. So we have super dark in the middle and very light as it fans out to the edges of the shell. Now we're going to do her tail, and the only color I used for her tail was blue. I kind of felt that, you know, here where she's sitting down is going to have the darkest shadow. So I'm going to scribble the blue on there, and then this fin down here, and there's going to be a little bit of darkness on this fin as well, and then maybe just a little shadow highlight here. And then I'm going to take my water brush and again pull that color up into the white space that is remaining. Don't forget also, in between colors that you're working with, you want to have a piece of paper towel handy because you want to scribble off your color on your water brush, so the next time you use it there's no color on the tip. So I always have paper towel handy in my workspace here to do just that. So now I'm just filling in this white space with my water brush. There we go. Now I kind of want to darken up this tail just a little bit. So one of the great things about working with Copics is you can go back over working with zig markers is much like Copics. You can go right back over where you just laid down the color and darken it up. So I'm just going to do a little bit of darkness again right there where she's sitting, and it's just going to add a little bit of depth and a little bit more drama between the light and darker shades. So here we go. We're just now going to pull this darker that we've just laid down again into the light space, and it's just going to be a little bit more of a dramatic pull between the light and the dark. And I just kind of like that. Some colors I do find that I need to do that extra little bit of going back over it again, and some colors you don't. It really just depends on the marker. And often I don't with the blue. I just felt in this particular circumstance I wanted just a little bit more of a difference between the dark and the light, a little bit more oomph, if you will. So now I'm going to color the little seahorse floaty that she's sitting on, and I'm using brown and yellow. This color combination with the zigs is absolutely gorgeous in my opinion. It really creates this beautiful kind of golden brown look. So I put down my brown. Now I'm coming in with my yellow, and I'm just pulling the color out either in a circular motion or like down here where I can't really do a circular motion. I'm just pulling it out in a kind of a pushing motion with the tip of my marker. And you want to clean the tip of your yellow off since you used it on a darker color, which was the brown. And that means you just scribble on that same paper towel until no more brown comes off the marker. You won't hurt your marker doing this technique at all, but you do want to clean it off in between colorings. So now I'm using the water brush and just pulling this color out, and it really does create this really pretty golden color look. Now we're going to do both little fins to the floaty here. Just laid a little bit of brown down. Now we're going to come in with our little bit of yellow and then fill it in with the water brush. And now we have to do the back of the floaty here. So let me grab my brown. Of course it's going to be darkest where she's sitting and where her kind of tail meets the floaty, and then around this way. So the top's going to be lighter. Take your yellow, fill this in, pull this out just a wee bit. Pulling this brown color out, scribble off the brown off the tip of that yellow marker, and now fill in the color with your water brush. And there you have it. For the little I'm not even sure what these are called, but the little, boy, my brain is gone mushy. I don't know, these little bumpy thingies on the outside of the seahorse floaty. I just put a little bit of dark brown, literally just a dot, and then I'm just taking my water brush and pulling that color. I wanted these to have just a little bit darker coloring than the actual seahorse. I'm going to do the same with the dots inside the seahorse in just a moment. So I'm just going to take my brown, and I'm literally putting a dot. Some that are really tiny that are just half circles I'm just completely filling in with this dark brown, and then some of the larger ones I'm just putting a dot, and then I'll go back in with my water brush. So that's all I'm doing right now is just filling these little dots in, and then all we will have left, guys, is her skin, and that is super easy here, and I'll show you that in just a moment. Okay, there we go, and there's a little space here I need to fill in. Okay, so now it's time for her skin. I use Flesh Color and Blush for skin. Blush is the darker of the two colors, so we start with that. When I'm doing zig coloring, I always start with my darker color first, and it's going to be darkest on the left side of her face, so that's where I put the darkest of the colors. Then I'm coming in with Flesh Tone and just pulling that color out, and then use your water brush to fill in the remainder of that white space with your water brush. I'm going to do the same thing with the rest of her skin here, keeping in mind that it's going to be darkest on the left side of her body. All right, and here's the shoulder here. Go back in with the flesh color and do the same thing, just filling in the space here. And then we'll use our water brush to finally pull the rest of it in. And I would probably go over this one more time just to darken up the highlights a little bit, but I won't take time to do that for the camera. I'm going to take just black, and I'm not going to use my water brush because this is so small, but I'm going to color her hairband black. So I'm just pulling that color, the marker, all the way across her little headband, and I missed a little spot there. Let me fix that. And then finally we have her little starfish that's in her hair, and I'm going to use brown and yellow again. So I just scribbled some brown down, pulling it out with the yellow, scribbling the yellow off on my paper towel to clean it, and then using my water brush to fill in the remainder of the space. So there you have it. There's our cute little mermaid colored very quickly. Let me zoom back out now and we'll show you the finished card one more time so you can kind of see how I put everything together. So here's the mermaid that we just colored very quickly. Here's the finished card, and I just cut her out. Obviously put the card together by placing the rectangle on a regular note card, and then added some sequins and the sentiment and the twine. So I hope that you enjoyed this. It's such a super easy background to create, and then just a little bit of zig coloring today for you guys. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will catch you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye.